today we're going to go through a webinar for real-time rules. This is an add-on feature for EEM, and just want to kind of go over some of the use cases we have and its use and basically how it works. So basically, real-time rules is all about providing opportunities for coaching and continuous improvement for different scenarios. An example, you could have an agent that has an issue with after call wrap, where they seem to be stuck in that for more time than is normally allocated for that type of a function with the call. And you want to identify, is this something that's happening a lot? Do I need to provide some kind of coaching? In this case, we could alert the supervisor of that there's that need based on that pattern that we see. Then the supervisor can set up separately, a coaching engagement. Typically, this is done for something that is very productive meeting where they're collaborative and the agent feels the appreciation of some good recommendations of improvement, and then overall we'll see a good satisfaction of the customers as a result of improved call handling and whatnot. So that's basically the idea of what these features do. It's all about alerting based on these agent states that we have. And then again, instead of having to look at the adherence in a lot of cases in the monitors, it frees up the supervisors and the RTC to focus on some other initiatives and then see these alerts come in as needed, respectively. Does that make sense? Any questions on that?
Nope.
Good. So basically what we have is we have, an overview. We have EEM. We have this built on top of a rule engine where we define rules. The RTC can build these business rules and identify them. These improvements based on the programs where they assign them to. So you'll see certain criteria that are supported. The criteria are agent is not logged in. The agent should log out. Criteria based on agent state durations, based on out of adherence. They should be in one state or one activity and they're not. And then we have ways of tracking the iterations, like how many times did this occur in a certain period. And that kind of helps identify, and tune how frequently these alerts come through so that they're not overbearing to the people that are seeing them, yet provide the information and the cadence that provides the optimal coaching opportunities and continuous improvement. Okay. The alerts right now can go to, we can alert the agent specifically. We can alert the supervisor, and we can alert the RTC, the real-time coordinators themselves. Right. And obviously, when we use these, we have better supervisor and agent collaboration engagement. It results in better operational efficiencies, and overall we see some good use from these and improvements in the contact center efficiency. Okay, so here's an example, but we'll jump into these a little bit more. And in this webinar, we're going to cover the real-time rule business objects, the action objects, and a lot of examples for how it's used. And these examples, we should be able to take these fairly easily, figure out which ones you want to pilot, configure those on the system, assign them to a program, and we'll start to see some results fairly quickly with some alerts coming through. Okay. So here's the real-time business objects. At this point, we've done rules before, so we know what business objects are. That's the part that we're actually defining in the criteria section of the rule. So the first one, agent not logged in. Obviously, that's the, typically it's saying, hey, the amount of times in seconds an agent is scheduled to be logged in but is not. So we could set up the criteria around that. If they're not logged in for, or should have been logged in for 5 minutes and they haven't been, then let's generate an alert. right? Or agent should log out. The agent's still in a logged in state. A certain amount of time has passed. They should have logged out by now, but they haven't. Maybe they've, went away from their desk and they forgot to log out. Maybe we need to adjust that. That has to do with, like, in a lot of cases, improving adherence. This, in some cases, can help you from in a work from home state or condition where, since their work life balance is kind of clouded at times, where they walk away from their desk instead of leaving the office. Sometimes it'll catch that they should have logged out. Hope that makes sense. Agent out of adherence, the amount of time in seconds an agent is not in their scheduled activity. Basically, the parameters we use, this is parameter based. We provide the activity codes where they're supposed to be and determine if they're not in that code, we'll do a certain amount of alerting. Agent state duration, similar to out of adherence, but we see how long an agent's been in a certain state and allow the criteria to indicate whether that's excessive or not. Okay. And then iteration is the number of times a specified event has occurred in a defined time frame, and I'll show you a little bit more about that. But that's how we kind of can kind of refine and make sure that we're getting the right amount of events. Like, for instance, we may want to say if an agent has been in an after call works for 3 times within this week for more than 30 seconds, then I want the supervisor to be notified because maybe there's a coaching opportunity there. Okay. Do you guys have any questions on any of this?
Nope.
No, I really like the iteration portion.
Yeah, that iteration has good resonance with our customers that have deployed it so far. It's really helpful, and the agent state duration does too.
Yeah.
So here's how our action objects works. We have 3 right now. We will be looking to add possibly some additional ones in future releases, but right now these are the 3 we have in 8.6. The first one is alert agent. And the process of this one, if the agent's logged in to the agent portal and in a scheduled activity and they're not marked as away from their desk, then we send that alert to the agent web portal because they should be logged in at that point and looking to see alerts that should come in. If they don't meet that criteria, the alert will be sent to the agent via their email. Okay. In future releases, we expect that to change to leverage the web push, or I'm sorry, the mobile application push. And I believe actually later on this year in 8.7, we may see that change in behavior come at that time. For both the alert supervisor and the alert RTC, those alerts goes directly to their email. Okay. Now, a key thing about the alerts, it's always best practice whenever we have an alert that goes to an agent, a supervisor, an RTC, that operationally there's some sort of action that we expect them to perform. It's not something that should be just informational. It's the best practice is that there's an action that they should do and act with. Example, if a supervisor receives an alert for ACW within 3 times in a week, maybe the action would be to schedule a coaching session with that agent and understand and talk to them a little bit about it and review some of the practices they have with handling their after call wrap or work. Okay. And it's always best before rolling out this agent to the agents themselves, let's make sure that they understand that this is for engagement and coaching rather than for some sort of a punitive purpose, right? We want to make sure that these are these rules and the alerts are producing some positive collaboration and viewed that way is the best way to handle that. So before rolling it out to the actual agents, some sort of communication respectively along those lines to say, hey, we're rolling this out. This is what they're used for. This gives us an opportunity to help you more and so forth and so on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. So let's get right into a couple of these. Let's go into the agent not logged in. As we said, this is one of these where we expect the to actually catch a case where the agent has not been logged in for a certain amount of time, right? Maybe it's because they haven't logged back in after lunch or haven't logged in at the start of the shift. Something to catch that and provide an alert to somebody. In this case, here's an example of a rule that could be used and has been before. If the agent's not logged in within 40 minutes, which is 2,400 seconds, then we want to alert the supervisor. Okay. And you can see that that has, just as other rules, indication of whether it's active or not. And it has rule versioning as well. And you can see at the top that it's a real-time rule rather than an intraday or current day rule or a future day rule. So that's kind of how you can see the difference in the rules. But this is straightforward. It's basically saying the agent's not logged in, and we can track what logged in states are there and which states are not logged in states, and then provide the appropriate alerts. Does that make sense? Any questions on that one?
I'm good.
Okay. The next one, agent should log out. This one is kind of the opposite of the other one. In this case, we want to see possibly they walked away from their desk. You know, this is fairly quickly. This is like 5 minutes. If an agent should have been logged out and they haven't been for 5 minutes, then we want to alert the agent and we want to alert the supervisor. Right? This gives the agent a chance possibly to run back and log out, and it gives the supervisor a chance to understand maybe there's an issue there that, hey, I shouldn't be considering that person to actually be taking calls because they should have been logged out. And as I said, in some cases, you know, work from home scenarios, agents should log out off at the end of the shift or at lunch, but sometimes they forget to, right? So that could help with your work from home scenarios. Okay, fairly straightforward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. The next ones are a little bit more interesting. We actually have parameters set for this one. So in this one, we're tracking an out of adherence. Okay, this one's basically if agent is out of adherence for more than 60 seconds, which is 1 minute, then we want to alert the agent. Now, of course, there's that tuning that you want to do, and there's we'll get into iterations a little bit too to see to show how those could be used. But this also uses a parameter set, so you could basically specify you know, which activity codes you want to apply this to. In this case, you can see that we selected open time and an open one. It's basically your open time for when they should be scheduled taking calls. You know, we have a way of mapping the states to the activity codes, and you know that's activity mapping that will show when we have some configuration. We could show how to map the activities and specify which ones are to be selected in the screen separately. But this one basically is selecting open time. So anytime that they are not in open time for more than 60 seconds, and they should be in open time, then we'll send an alert to the agent. This is your out of adherence type of a rule. Okay. And there's variations. We'll probably show you a couple of variations, but you could also you know, state maybe if they're out of adherence for more than 3 times for more than 60 seconds, then they actually have a problem and notify the supervisor for a coaching opportunity. Right? Always tie that back to some sort of an action and understand how, you know, we can make it more operational efficient to notify the supervisor to help out with some habitual behavior. Okay. Here is agent state duration. This is basically the example that I used before was the call wrap, right? If the agent is in this call wrap for more than 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes, then we want to alert the agent, give them a little, nudge that says, hey, wrap it up, wrap up your wrap, because there's calls. We need to we need your contribution on the next calls. And it gives, they see that, and eventually they'll start realizing, hey, I want to avoid this message coming in, and I just want to get to it quicker, right? So those are basically the different types of rules that we have coming in. Here's the iteration. So this is how you kind of tune it. Like in this case, we only want to alert the supervisor if the agent's state duration, or they got in this criteria where the agent's state duration has been larger than 960 seconds 2 times, right? If that happens, if they reach some kind of threshold, you could almost view that as a threshold, then we alert the supervisor or take some other form of an action, right? And you have the ability to select the time frame up in the top right. At least the day, typically in the week, or a week could be used. I'd have to go back and check. Possibly month is something you could select to, but I doubt that. But anyway, that's basically what the iteration does. Can you see how that could be used to kind of limit the number of notifications that you could get in? That way they're not kind of flooding the agent or the supervisor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like that option.
Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty useful. And of course, using this iteration with the concept of a nested then, can help too. Like, let's say the agent state duration is 960 and I selected the after call wrap. I can notify the agent every time, but if using this iteration, I could also say if it happens 5 times, then alert the supervisor, right? So it's kind of a graduated type of an action and alert. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Okay, so let's go into a couple more examples then. Here is the after call work. Again, we talked a little bit about this, but you can see how using the agent state duration with the iteration can kind of be used to catch the second occurrence of the day, or it's happened more than once. Let's provide a little bit more of a notification. You see the time frame up in the top right's a day, right? So in this case, the intent, we want to reduce the agent's spend time after call work, or after call wrap. Has people refer to it slightly different. I want to alert that agent after the second occurrence when their after call wrap exceeds that 150 seconds. And the impact, my perceived impact of that would be improves my awareness and my operational efficiency, and it coaches the agents more or less automatically, right? Here's another, should log off. In the case that the agent should log off after 20 seconds, 20 minutes. Sorry, I have to check that. That may be an error in the actual parameter. But when they're in a logged in state for more than 20 minutes, when they should be logged out, we want to alert the agent and the supervisor. Pretty straightforward, but I think that that timing should be in seconds instead of minutes. Okay. Here's another example. This is my intent is we have issues with adherence that are impacting operational efficiency, so we want to alert the supervisor each time beyond a third occurrence of an agent being out of adherence for more than 5 minutes. So first we take a look at the agent out of adherence, and you can see there it has to be greater than 300 seconds, which is 5 minutes. And then in the time frame of a week, see, that's how we have the week up there on the top right. 3 iterations in that week, then we'll notify the supervisor. Now, this is just an example, right? And typically what happens is this provides the supervisor with that opportunity to have that discussion. Hey, you know, we've seen that you've been out of adherence several times this week. What do you feel the reasons for that? And having a good dialogue that kind of helps the supervisor understand how they could help the agent with some advice and some reinforcement. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Good, good. Okay, and that's basically what I wanted to show. These are fairly simple rules and how we apply them.